Pull up a chair. This is the Pattaya Red Pill Report. You didn't escape. You just relocated your cage. You were a workhorse in the West, dragging debt, dragging duty, dragging some fat, angry woman's expectations through a life you never asked for. And when you finally broke free, when you hit retirement, divorce, or flat out said, fuck this, you thought you were done being used. You weren't. You landed in Pattaya, sun on your face, beer in your hand, tits on your lap. And still, you're not in control. You don't talk like a free man. You don't move like a free man. You're out here apologizing to bar girls, over-explaining to freelancers, falling in love with the first chick who gives you a fake smile and a foot rub. You're not a wolf. You're not a stallion. You're a fucking plow horse with the bit still in your mouth. And every girl out here sees it. They smell the desperation, the conditioning, the obedience. You spent 20 years getting trained by a Western who resented you. And now you think you're going to outplay a 22-year-old pro who's been hustling guys like you since she was 16? You're not free. You're just foreign. So if this already stings a little, good. That means this episode's for you. Smash that like button so the algorithm sends this to another poor bastard still dragging his Western marriage scars through the soy. Subscribe if you're ready for the truth most men can't swallow. Let's unpack what the hell happened to you. And why your freedom feels a whole lot like a new kind of slavery. Wild Mustangs and neutered Farangs. You remember who you used to be? Before the job, before the mortgage, before the 20-year hostage negotiation, you called a marriage. You were wild once. Maybe not perfect, but you had fire. You made moves, took risks. You had options, energy, testosterone. But then came the yoke. You got hitched, and I don't mean romantically. I mean like a fucking ox to a plow. You pulled weight, you followed orders, you learned to say, yes, dear, like it was a survival tactic. And over the years, she wore you down. Your gut grew, your dreams shrank, your eyes got dull, you stopped being a man and started being a husband. Now here you are in Pattaya, thinking you've stepped into some kind of Mustang utopia, but you still walk like you're in a corral. You talk to girls with shame in your voice. You're afraid to lead. You overthink every move. You treat every 25-year-old working girl like she's your ex-wife on a good day. Bro, the bars are gone, but you still live in the cage. And don't get it twisted. These girls, they know exactly what you are. You're not mysterious. You're not charming. You're predictable. You're soft. You're trained. They know they can lead you, milk you, guilt you, because you still think relationships are about pleasing women instead of protecting yourself. And that's why you're getting used. That's why you're falling for girls who fake love better than your ex ever did. You didn't come to Thailand to reclaim your masculinity. You came here hoping someone would hand it back to you, sweetly, gently, like a pretty little nurse in a G-string would kiss it back into your soul. But it doesn't work like that. You want your balls back? You got to fight for them. You got to stop thinking like a husband and start moving like a man again. Sexual exclusivity, the castration clause. You know what marriage was really good at? Neutering you. And I don't mean snip in a clinic. I mean psychological castration, symbolic, permanent. You stopped thinking about other women the day she made you feel like wanting them was a crime. You used to look, you used to want, but then came the lectures, the cold stares, the guilt. You learned to flinch every time a thong walked past you at the pool. You didn't grow up. You just got trained, and now you're in Pattaya, land of ass and opportunity, and you still feel dirty watching a girl dance. You still look over your shoulder like your ex-wife is hiding behind the Chang sign with a rolling pin. That ain't normal. That's trauma. These girls, they don't care what your vows were. They're here to win, and you're out here negotiating like the sex still means something, like the connection is real. Let me make it plain. She doesn't love you. She doesn't even like you. She likes that you're lonely. She likes that you're trained. She likes that when she says, I miss you, you believe it. You're still chasing the carrot and that sweet little reward for being a good boy. But here's the truth. Sex is no longer a mutual joy for you. It's become a transactional performance. And worse, you think you're the one who has to earn it. That's what marriage taught you. That pussy is a prize. And now you're in a city where you could literally buy it with less effort than ordering a burger. And you still act like you need permission. You want to know why that freelancer pulled a disappearing act after 3 nights? Because you got clinchy, because you caught feelings, because you acted like a loyal golden retriever instead of a man just enjoying his options. She's not your girlfriend. She's the bartender who smiled because she saw a tip in your eyes. And your dick's still on a leash from a woman 9,000 miles away. Cut the leash, cut the guilt, and stop confusing access with affection. Provision, the pay pig paradigm. Back home, provision was your identity. Provider, protector, pack mule. You didn't get love, you earned points, paid the bills, 1 point, took the kids to soccer, half a point, forgot her birthday, game over. Your worth wasn't who you were, it was what you gave, and you got used to that. So, used to it, you brought that same mindset to Thailand. Now you're out here, tipping girls before they do anything, buying drinks for a group of girls who barely know your name, giving allowances to freelancers who call you babe and ghost you by Tuesday. Bro, you're not a generous man. You're a pay pig with tropical delusions. And the worst part, you don't even enjoy what you're paying for. You're stressed, you're broke, you're confused, and you still think she's the victim when she says, "Can you help me, daddy?" You came out here thinking this would be cheaper than a Western wife. But instead of one woman draining you over 20 years, now it's 6 girls a week siphoning your cash like mosquitoes with fake eyelashes. And why? Because your brain is still in husband mode. Because you think affection has to be purchased. You forgot how to enjoy a woman without negotiating your own self-worth. You forgot that money is a tool, not a leash. These girls see you coming from a mile away. You don't talk, you offer. You don't flirt, you fund. You don't ask questions. You just reach for your wallet like a trained seal reaching for a fish. And the game out here, it doesn't reward that. It exploits it because a girl doesn't respect the man who pays too easily. She respects the man who could pay and doesn't unless she's earned it. Stop thinking like a provider and start thinking like a man with options of protection. Human shield with a mortgage. You've always been the shield. Back home, if shit went sideways, you were the one expected to stand in front of the bullet. The break-in, you check it out. The strange noise at 3 a.m., you grab the bat. Your kid's in trouble, you sacrifice sleep, sanity, savings, whatever it takes. That's what being a man meant to you. Constant protection, constant readiness, constant sacrifice. And you brought that same war-torn instinct to Pattaya. Now you're out here thinking you need to save these girls. You meet one chick with a sob story and suddenly you're Liam Neeson in flip-flops. She's different. She just needs help. She's not like the others. Bro, she is exactly like the others, and she sees you as nothing more than a bullet sponge with a savings account. You're playing protector in a city full of predators. You're putting yourself between her and the hardship she manufactured to get more out of you. And the reward? Maybe a few nights of fake affection. A couple moans and a kiss on the cheek. Then she disappears with your cash and shows up at iBar with someone younger, richer, or just dumber. You're not her hero. You're her resource, a meat shield with a MasterCard. And if the money dries up, so does her loyalty. She'll vanish without a thank you, and you'll be left alone, staring at her line profile, wondering where it all went wrong. You didn't protect her, you enabled her, and now she's moved on to her next night in cheap armor. Out here, protection doesn't make you a man. It makes you a mark. You're not her safety net. You're her exit strategy. The plow horse in paradise, you're free, but you don't know what to do with it. You did it. You escaped the West. You left behind the nagging wife, the cold bed, the mortgage, the taxes, the school runs, the office politics, the only birthday, day blowies. You finally broke the chain. But here's the sick truth. You don't know how to be free. You got out of prison and started sweeping the floor in your hotel room like the warden's still watching. You don't make choices. You ask for permission. You don't lead women. You follow them around like a lost pet hoping to be fed. You were so used to being told what to do, when to eat, when to fuck, when to sleep. Now that no one's controlling you, you panic. That's why you chase the first girl who shows you any softness. That's why you fall in love in 3 days like a teenager with a midlife crisis. That's why you tip like a simp, beg for attention, and confuse performance with connection. You spent 20 years getting broken. Don't think one plane ticket is enough to fix that. You walk around Pattaya like you're free range, but your mind's still locked in the suburbs. You still crave structure, still crave approval, still crave the leash because at least it gave you clarity. Out here, there's no leash, no safety net, no honeydew list to blame when your life is aimless. So you stumble into bars trying to rebuild the only thing you ever knew. Obedience, routine, a new woman to tell you what to do. And guess what? These girls are happy to step up. They'll take your money, your time, your attention. And they'll give you exactly the same cage you ran from, just with better legs and a fake smile. You don't need a girlfriend. You need a fucking reset. You need to remember what it feels like to move without guilt, to say no, to enjoy a woman without needing her approval. You need to stop asking Thailand to fix you and start acting like you belong off the leash. Final reality check. You're not free until you act like it. So, let's get real. You weren't tricked. You weren't unlucky. You volunteered for the yoke. You signed the marriage contract. You bought the house. You did the 9 to 5 grind while she withered your soul and rationed out affection like prison food. And when you finally escaped, you came to Thailand thinking this place would give you back what she took. But newsflash, no one gives you shit out here. Not the girls, not the city, not the fucking weather. This place isn't a reward, it's a test. A test to see if you still got a spine under all that suburban softness and marital conditioning. Can you walk into a bar and hold frame? Can you say no to a pretty face with a price tag? Can you fuck without falling in love? If not, you're still a plow horse, just a sweaty, sunburnt one getting rinsed on a beach instead of a driveway. Because the game didn't change, just the language, just the faces, just the backdrop. And if you don't kill that provider, programmed, approval seeking, self sacrificing version of yourself, you're going to get used again. Maybe worse this time. Because at least back home, she pretended to love you. Out here, she'll look you in the eye, take your cash, call you daddy, then block you before your plane takes off. So stop blaming the girls. Stop blaming your ex. Stop acting like you're still waiting for permission to live like a man. You're not free until you act like it, until you talk like it, until you move through this world with the same power you thought you had to give up. And if this episode pissed you off, good. Smash the like, share this with a brother who's about to fall for the same scam, and drop a comment if you've ever watched a guy ignore the signs because she said all the right things. Big thanks to all the Savage Channel members and supporters on Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, and Cash App. You keep this truth train rolling while YouTube pretends we're the problem. I'm Josh, and this was your Pattaya Red Pill Report. If the truth hurts, good. That means you're still alive. See you next round.